live. Today I have the honor of interviewing Tony Touch, an iconic DJ, rapper, producer, and b-boy. Tony Touch is known around the world as one of the mixtape kings. He recently released a movie called Mixtape the Movie. We're going to talk to him about his movie, his incredible career as a DJ, and some of the classic moments he's had in making some of those iconic tapes, and much more. Let's bring him in.
What up? What up?
What an honor to have you on the show, Tony Touch. And thank you, because I know that today is a big deal, that you have a major event going on. Can you talk to us about the Funk Box?
Yeah, you know what? Before I do that, let's give it a minute or two. Let some more people come in the room so they don't miss anything.
Yes.
And I'm probably going to need you to do that introduction once again.
You got it,
Look,
bro. You got it.
We got either people are coming in now. Let's give them a minute to come in so I could drop these jewels on them. And yeah, if you want to do that intro again,
you got it.
On you, baby. Go get them.
Today we got Tony Touch live from New York City. He's an iconic DJ, producer, rapper, and b-boy. And today he has a big night at the Funk Box. Can you tell us what's going on at the Funk Box?
Hey, man, what's up? Thanks for having me. Thanks for tapping in with me. The Funk Box is a party here in New York. We're celebrating 16 years of this party. This party has been running 16 years. It's one of New York's #1 house music dance parties. And we're celebrating 16 years today. And rest in peace, my brother Voodoo Ray, who's the co-founder of this party. He's no longer here with us in the physical. Wow. We still honor him and celebrate him. And yep, today we're celebrating that 16 years.
That's awesome, man. Now, is this like the #1 house party in New York?
I would say so. I mean, there's plenty of others that have inspired me and why I did this party. Parties like The Shelter, parties like Roots, you know, of course, 718 Sessions. You know, there's so many incredible dance music parties here in New York. So I'm just here to add on, continue on and carry on tradition here in New York City.
Yeah. Now, you got a single, Apaga la Luz, and many singles, right? You got more than that, but Apaga la Luz is a joint that...
Apaga la Luz, yeah, that's my latest single on Vega Records. Shout out to Louis Vega. We put that out about a year and change ago, and we're having a great run with that.
Yeah, it's a dope song. And now, you know, I was about to connect the new record, Apaga la Luz, and your starts as a b-boy.
I mean, yeah, that was my first love, dancing, you know. I came into the game as a dancer, b-boy, young b-boy in the early 80s. That's my first love. And then it's evolved into, you know, DJing and producing and doing all that other cool stuff.
Yeah. You know, we know you as Tony Touch, right? The DJ, the rapper. That's the name known around the world. But I know when I was a b-boy coming up, I had like a different b-boy name. Did you have a b-boy name?
Man, it's kind of corny. I used to be Little Breaker, Brooklyn Playboy. I had different aliases, but nothing that really stuck.
Yeah.
I was, you know, Brooklyn Playboy was like the one that really, but you know, I'm like 15 years old, you know what I mean?
That's a dope name. Let the ladies know that you got the moves, you know?
Hey, you know.
And then the name Tony Touch, how did that come together? Did you come up with that? Did somebody give you that name?
Nah, the name was given. Shout out to DJs PF Cuttin, my man 3D, East New York veterans. They came up and gave me the name. I was nameless back then.
Yeah.
You know, I used to run with Tony Tone, but there was already a Tony Tone and the Cold Crush Brothers, so I had to come up with something original, and they came up with the name for me.
Yeah, it's dope. And they did good. They gave you a dope name.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, bro. You know, I heard a story about how you spent some time in Florida also, and then moved back to New York and really kind of like took your career took off after that. Can you talk to us about those formative years and back and forth between Florida and New York?
Yeah, I moved to Florida back in from my high school years. I was there from you know 10th grade till I was a senior,
Yeah,
and it was there that I was able to develop my skill set. And back back in those days in Orlando, it wasn't a whole lot of stuff to do, and mass transit didn't exist, so it worked out for me. I was able to develop the skill set, and then I moved back to New York after I graduated high school,
yeah,
and all took off from there.
yeah. And you're known for that one mixtape that kind of really took off, which was the Power Cipher. I remember the Power Cipher was like so iconic when it came out, the 50 MCs as it became known. But you have 49 before that. Can you talk to us about that grind, from number 1 to number 49 before that number 50 hit that really, I think,
Hmm.
catapulted you to like a whole other level?
Yeah, I got into the mixtape game in 1991, and that's really how I got my name out there. It was circulating all those mixtapes in different mom and pop stores, different cities. The 50 MCs is the one that took me to the next chamber.
Yeah.
Um, but you could get my whole mixtape collection at tonytouch.com now on one USB. You get my whole collection.
How
Um, and
how
I'm
many
still
how many
making.
are there on like the hip hop one? How many mixtapes are on that USB?
Oh, there's over like 130 of them. I'm still making them to this day. Every few months, I'll record something, put it up on my Mixcloud, my SoundCloud, and you know, it just keeps me on my toes, keeps me up to date, keeps my knives sharp, and
Yeah,
yeah, you could get the whole collection at tonytouch.com. Man, I'm still rocking with those.
absolutely. TonyTouch.com has a lot more too, right? I was up in there checking out the store. You got your merch and you've got all the other genres that you've got mixtapes in. Can you talk to us about some of those other genres that you're heavy in?
Oh yeah, well, when I started the mixtape hustle, I was tapped into everything from reggae to R&B to house music to freestyle to Latin. I mean, I was a beast with it when I was back in the mixtape hustle game.
Yeah,
And now I digitized everything, put it all on USB. You could buy each one separate depending on what genre you're into.
yeah, yeah. The website's nice too. It's you got the merch, the hats. You got, what I'm saying, everything on
Thank you,
there.
man. Thank you, bro. Yeah, it's I gotta update it a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, but it's still up and running.
It gets the job done.
We're still up and running with that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's absolutely. It's interesting, you spent some time in Florida. You're from New York, your background's from Puerto Rico. You were on the reggaeton early before it started blowing up in the United States in the 2000s, right? Can you talk to us about that part of your background and how you rode that wave also? Subsequently it turned into like the Reggaetony albums and all of that.
I mean, I started doing parties in Puerto Rico back in like 92, 93, before it was even called reggaeton. And shout out to DJ Negro and Vico C and all those guys. I used to run with all those guys in the early 90s.
Wow.
And was introduced to, people like Evie Queen and Daddy Yankee. I mean, early on, before it was even a genre,
When it was
I was
underground, when it was
participating
called
in it.
underground.
Yeah, underground. That's right. In Carolina, deep in the streets of Carolina. I was there. I was right there watching it manifest.
So how did that work? I mean, were you just like back and forth between, New York, Florida, and PR?
Yeah, that was pretty much the markets I was heavy in back in the early '90s. Exactly, New York, PR, and Miami, Orlando. That's right.
Yeah. A lot of Latinos, you know what I'm saying? Like once they're here or they've been here a couple generations, they speak less Spanish, they're less connected, they become more American. How was that family connection for you? Do you still have a lot of family in PR where you go back and forth? What's that connection like for you?
Absolutely. I'm still out there. We do funk box parties in Puerto Rico now.
That's
House
dope.
music events and absolutely, man. Just got back from Miami. I'm still working those markets heavy. I'll be in the West Coast soon. I'll be in LA end of August. Look out for me over there.
Yeah.
August 24 actually is the date, and we're moving that party around really nice.
Yeah. You're one of the hardest working DJs, bro. Like I like look at your calendar and it's like the endless grind. If somebody wanted to hire you for a Tony Touch event, they want to bring you to a city to have a Tony Touch party, what's the right way to connect with you?
You can hit me direct, DJ Tony Touch at Gmail. You could DM me. Super easy to find. But the best way, uh, DJ Tony Touch at Gmail.
That's good. DJ Tony Touch at Gmail.
That's right.
That's good, man. Now, I heard this one story about the making of 50 MCs and how you went about getting such an iconic project and how you spent time at D&D Studios. Can you share with us that story?
Yeah, most of the 50 MC mixtapes were all recorded out of D&D Studios, and I had a great relationship with the owners. So I used to rent out like the smallest room in the place and just buy out the whole day, set up, and a lot of times I didn't. And the times that I didn't, there'd be so many artists coming through that studio
Yeah.
that I'd be able to just politic and work my magic, approaching people and letting them know what I was doing. And that's how a lot of the artists, I was able to record a lot of them, just on the whim. Just they happened to be in the studio and I was there.
You just had the space and they'd be working on stuff and you'd be like, yo,
Yeah,
wanna jump on
I
it,
was
wanna
like
jump.
in the next room would be like DJ Premier or the Beat Miners, and again, so many everybody was running through D&D in the '90s, so
Yeah.
I just right place, right time.
They dropped an album. There was like a D&D album.
Pretty much, yeah, man. Pretty much, those tapes will go down in history for sure.
Yeah. The that era, the mixtape era, you were a major player, but there were other players, right? Ron G and DJ Drama. But there's one DJ that you've worked really close with that's Dua, right? Can you
hmm
talk to us about that relationship and how you guys have made music together?
Yeah, doo-wop was a major player of the game, the mixtape game in the early '90s, and he was the first one to do all these freestyles on the mixtape. So when I did the 50 MCs, I tried to like raise the bar, and then so it was a little competitiveness in the beginning, and then um, we just came together and formed this bond that to this day we still rock together. 20
Yeah,
20 plus years later.
that's so dope. Yeah, he had that around the 50 MCs, he had that 95 Live.
Right,
That,
exactly. And
that's
my
such a
50
classic tape.
MCs came out in '96, so we're going on 30 years of rocking out. Me and my brother Duop. Yeah.
That's dope. The Diaz brothers, where does that name come from?
We took that from the Scarface movie. There was some fictional characters you'd never seen, but they were always talked about. You know, fuck the Diaz brothers. You know,
Oh,
you hear, yeah,
oh,
yeah, yeah.
oh.
So they would never, you never saw them in the movie, but they were mentioned a few times. Like they were like the competition in Miami, you know. So we just ran with that.
Got it. So that's when you were doing the Diaz brothers. That's when you got "Fuck You Pay Me." That all connected into the
Yeah, yeah,
Diaz
yeah, yeah.
brothers.
He did the whole Al Pacino voice for us. Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. The you work regularly with doo-wop. I know that there's a production team named Team Demo that has been dropping singles. They have an album and they have a single dropping soon called Pistolas that's going to be you with doo-wop.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about that?
Nah, I laid that verse down months ago. I'm waiting for that to drop. Pistolas, yeah. I think Chadio produced that record. Chadio from Crew. Yeah, I already did my part. I'm just waiting for it to hit the streets.
That's dope, man. We put out a flyer for some fan generated questions and got a couple. I'm gonna ask you one of them, which was from Jersey City Jeff. And Jersey City Jeff said the 2024 is the 30th anniversary of the album Democracy, spelled Demo Crazy, a mixtape album that you did with Destroy, which is has a show. He has a show now on Sirius, just like you. Um, any plans for an anniversary show or event related to that 1994 release with Destroy?
I don't think we have anything planned anniversary wise for it. But shout out to Destroy. We still work together. We're still creating and doing stuff.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
there's nothing set. No anniversary event or anything like that set for that.
We'll see. We'll see if the question echoes into the internet to see what happens with it. The
Right.
Can you talk to us about Toka Tuesday and what Toka Tuesday is?
Talk Tuesday started as a radio show. It's still running. Sirius XM Shade 45. That's the Eminem channel. Next year makes 20 years. I'm on that channel,
Wow.
and the show airs 7 to 9 p.m. West Coast time, 10 p.m. to midnight East Coast time. After a couple of years of that radio show, then I started doing a party called Toka Tuesday, which ran for about 14 years. I put that to bed. Now it's just Toka's Playhouse, which is I could do parties any day of the week. But the Toka Tuesday show's still running. We also came up with another name for that show called Toka's Mixtape. But yeah, that's what that's all about. It's the radio show on Sirius XM. Catch it.
That's dope. That's dope. There's a movie that you had a direct hand in. You were one of the producers, and I think they came to you first, called Mixtape the movie. Can you talk to us about that movie?
The Mixtape movie, well, it was running on Paramount Plus for quite some time. They just took it down. We're looking for a new home for it. But it's basically the story of the mixtape culture, the key players in it, the impact of the mixtape, the effect it had on the industry, and all of that good stuff. Legends like Kid Capri and K Slade, rest in peace, and DJ Clue. We we got all these guys to participate in this film and break down the history and the relevance of the mixtape. And again, it was running on Paramount Plus. It just got taken down because they did some, you know, some things over there at Paramount Plus. But we do have something in the air. We're gonna have it running on a new network soon. So stay tuned for that. You can get the soundtrack for the film. It's on Def Jam Records. It's called the Def Tape. It's an album I produced. That's streaming right now. You can catch that.
Yeah, that album is dope because it's kind of like it's kind of like Power 50 Part 4, right?
It's the 50 MCs formula. except everything on the album is Def Jam related. The beats, the artists. You know, I work with Def Jam artists, past and present. You know, Slick Rick, Chuck D, Rick Ross, Jada Kiss. Uh, it's one hell of an album. I suggest everyone get it. The Def Tape.
Yeah. When you you know, I was actually like going through your discography, and you have such a large discography where like I'm going 20 years back, 30 years back, but you've got a joint on there that I wound up using for the flyer on the reel, where you're rapping over the Beastie Boys' Paul Revere.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
on that album.
yeah.
That's the song I
Pablo
did
Revere.
with Jeezy and Rick Ross. Yeah, Pablo's Revere. Yep.
Yeah. Now that's a dope one right there. And so there was the Power Cipher, right? That first one came out, but then there was a part 2 and a part 3, the final chapter. But I
Right.
think that when they approached you for the movie, they were interested in that story at first. And you played a big role in expanding the movie, right?
I was one of the producers of the film, sort of co-directed it, and shout out to everybody involved with that. Omar Costa and, you know, Nick Quested, David Kennedy. We had a great team. We put that film together. Um, really proud of that project.
Yeah, that's dope, man. You know, in addition to the hip hop stuff that you have, you've got the Reggaetony Album 1 and Reggaetony Album 2. Is there a Reggaetony Album 3 in the works?
Possibly, possibly. Trying to, I'm trying to get to that. I got a house. I'm dropping a Funk Box album. Probably gonna drop that first, so I can follow up with the Apaga la Luz record and Sacude, and you know, there's a lot of momentum and stuff behind those songs. So I'm gonna probably drop this house album first, and then we'll see if we'll get to the Reggaetony.
Yeah. So basically you've got 2 strong singles already for a Funk Box album.
Yeah.
You just need to bring the whole thing together now and I guess get the deal behind it.
That's it, Papa. Yo, I'm about to go through the tunnel, so I might have to cut you off and tap out of here.
Tony Touch, I appreciate you, my bro. Let's talk about it one more time. Funk Box tonight. Tell us where it's at.
Bar 13, New York City, 14th Street, Union Square, 3 levels. I know you're based out in the West Coast, so everybody in the West Coast, I'll be out there August 24th. I believe the venue's called High Tide, if I'm not mistaken.
All right.
I hope I got that right, but I'll be posting that August 24th. I'll be in LA. But tonight, Funk Box in New York, Bar 13, Union Square. Come get it.
Tony Touch, it's an honor to have you on the Cristopolis show. Thank you
My
so
brother,
much.
thanks, bro. Peace out, man.
Peace.